The incredible life story of Hazrat Fatima, the companion who surpassed all women in history, the person who most resembled our Prophet on earth, the most virtuous of the women of the Ummah. The lineage of our Prophet continued through her, the mother of al-Bayt, the most beautiful human being ever to grace creation, Fatima. Hazrat Ali's poetry to Fatima. Indeed, I have but one wish left in this world, O Fatima, to await the day I will reunite with you and your father. I miss you. I deeply miss you and your father. She could endure this world for only 6 months without him before reuniting with her father. She left behind Hassan and Hussein. May Allah grant us the blessing of being their neighbors in Jannah. Words cannot describe her. She was the unique and most beloved daughter of the Messenger of Allah, the trust of Khadija, and his most precious part. Fatima's birth and early life. The Prophet Muhammad had 7 children, 3 sons and 4 daughters. Fatima was born as the Prophet's 5th child. When Hazrat Fatima was born, Hazrat Khadija thought to herself, "If only my beloved husband would allow me to name this child after my mother." Her mother's name was Fatima binti Ahid. When the Prophet sallallahu arrived, he took the newborn in his arms and said, "This is my mother." Then he continued, "I will name her after my mother." At first, Khadija was at a loss for words, but the Prophet clarified, "When I say my mother, I mean my second mother, Fatima, the mother of Ali." Thus, he honored Khadija's feelings as well. The name Fatima means one who has been weaned. While Fatima may have been weaned, she grew up nourished by the milk of the Quran. She was raised in the secret atmosphere of a blessed household, always enriched by the teachings of her father. In time, she became the mother of all al-Bayt. When the Prophet received his prophethood, Fatima was 5 years old. Her demeanor was so similar to her father's that people would often say, "She is the exact likeness of her father." Her walk, her mannerisms, her way of sitting and standing, even her smile reflected the Prophet. Saw. Aisha, the wife of the Prophet, once said, "I have never seen anyone resemble their father as much as Fatima did." In Medina, if someone saw her from behind, they would think it was the Prophet himself because of her walk and movements. Fatima's strength and compassion. Abdullah ibn Masud narrated an incident near the Kaaba. When the Prophet was praying, Abu Jahl and other leaders of Mecca began mocking him. Abu Jahl pointed to a slaughtered animal and said, "Who will place its intestines on his back?" Uqba bin Abi Mu'ayt volunteered, bringing 2 others with him. They placed the filth on the Prophet's back while he prayed. Abdullah ibn Masud recounted, "We froze, unable to intervene. Suddenly, we heard the cries of 10-year-old Fatima. She rushed in, yelling at them, 'How dare you do this to my father? Don't you fear Allah?' She removed the filth from her father's back. After finishing his prayer, the Prophet and Fatima wept together. He consoled her, saying, "Do not be sad, my daughter. Allah will not abandon your father." The virtues of Fatima al-Khatib in historical Baghdad reported from Ibn Abbas that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "My daughter Fatima is a celestial being among the descendants of Adam. She neither menstruates nor experiences postnatal bleeding." Fatima was called Zahra, meaning pure and immaculate, because Allah protected her and her close ones from the fire of hell. Al-Hakim, with an authentic chain of narration, transmitted from Abdullah ibn Masud that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, "Fatima preserved her chastity to perfection. For this reason, Allah has forbidden the fire to touch her progeny." Mutaki, in Kanz al-Umal, reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, "The first person to enter paradise will be Fatima, the daughter of Muhammad." Fatima holds the same esteemed position in this ummah as Maryam held among the children of Israel. One day the Prophet, S.A.W., drew 4 lines on the ground with a stick and asked his companions, "Do you know what these lines represent?" He then explained, "Each of these represents one of the 4 queens of the womenfolk: Asiya, the wife of Pharaoh; Maryam, the mother of Isa; Khadija, and my daughter Fatima." Marriage to Hazrat Ali. In the 2nd year after Hijrah, at the age of 20, Fatima received proposals from several notable companions of the Prophet ﷺ, including Abu Bakr, Umar, and Abdurrahman ibn Auf. However, the Prophet had a different plan. Eventually, Hazrat Ali approached to ask for her hand in marriage. The Prophet sought Fatima's opinion, and upon her agreement, he approved their union. To provide a dowry for Fatima, Hazrat Ali sold his helmet. The helmet was purchased by Uthman, who later gifted it back to Ali as a wedding present. Fatima's modest trousseau included a pillow, a mat, a handmill, a water skin, a clay pitcher, a towel, a Yemeni garment, a velvet cloth. These simple items comprise the belongings of the daughter of the Prophet, Saw. Hazrat Ali and Fatima had 5 children: Hassan, Hussein, Muhsin, Zainab, and Kulthum. The Prophet stated, "While the lineage of others continues through their sons, my lineage will continue through Fatima." This was signified in his prayer for Ali, Fatima, Hassan, and Hussein while gathering them under a cloak. Fatima's final days. At the age of 28, Fatima witnessed her father fall seriously ill. As he lay bedridden, he reassured her, saying, "Do not fear, my daughter. They will no longer harm your father." Realizing the gravity of the situation, Fatima was overcome with grief. She leaned close to her father, who whispered something in her ear. She began to weep uncontrollably. Then he motioned for her to come closer again and whispered more words. This time, her tears turned to laughter. Later, Aisha, R.A., asked Fatima about her reaction. Fatima explained, "At first, the messenger of Allah told me that he would soon depart from this world, and I could not hold back my tears. Then he said, 'Do not be sad, for you will be the first to join me.' That made me smile." 6 months after the Prophet's passing, Fatima also departed from this world. She was buried in the Bashi cemetery in Medina. For many, she passed at what might be considered the prime of her life, leaving behind a devoted husband and young children. Yet for Fatima, worldly life held little significance. Her faith was unwavering, and her heart was with her Father and her Creator. What more could one need when the ultimate reliance was on Allah, the one who owns all? Kindly subscribe this channel to promote it for preaching of Islam. Thank you.